Hello and welcome to an episode of Ed Talks, where I'm having conversations with industry leaders in hospitality on 2023 and the issues around that for operators. As part of our campaign, No to Last Orders, whereas the fight against hospitality closures in 2023. And today I'm joined by the lovely Vic Searle, owner and founder of Datahawks. Welcome, Vic.
Well, thank you very much for having me. I cannot tell you how impressed I am with the name Ed Talks. It honestly constantly amuses me, and I just had a little smile when you said it then as well. But thank you so much for inviting me.
Of course. I mean, so why don't you start by just telling us a little bit about yourself and a little bit around Datahawks, and really, what are you doing to really help the hospitality industry this year?
Yeah, cool. Do you know, I was just speaking to Katie at Cam Media, actually. This year is my 30th year in hospitality, which is impossible when I'm only 32 myself. But yeah, I've been in hospitality for a long time. And I set up Datahawks because I really wanted to empower marketers. But essentially, we do two things, and this is how we're going to help the industry. We've got a product called the Marketing Intelligence Report. And that's a combination of audit, of insight and strategy. And this is really about sort of taking your customer database and being able to give you really actionable insights so you can really understand, you know, where to target your marketing and how best to sort of monetize your database. And we have an activation part of the business as well. So we can action those insights for you. There's no point leaving with you with a load of insights if you don't know what to do with them. So we action them as well. And it's going so far, so good.
Amazing. You guys are making so many waves in the industry. So really excited to see what you guys are doing for the rest of the year. And I think, what's really key is was working together. And that's part of the reason why we're doing this kind of mini series, is really be keen to understand where do you see and how do you see Bums on Seats and Datahawks really working together to help tackle all the issues that we all know about, we all talk about, but how can we work together to really help the industry to tackle these issues that hospitality is facing?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Bums and Seats are the experts at getting people into venues, right? And and getting them into things like booking platforms. And that's an absolute gift for us, because when we've got volumes of people going into a business, especially when they're using platforms like Booking and Wi-Fi once they're there, they're leaving us a digital footprint, and we can take those digital footprints and we can start to build some really interesting insights from them. And that's everything from working out who your key customer groups are. So, who's most valuable to you, who's threatening to lapse. But we can give you insights that can power your whole marketing. Most businesses have probably only got about 10% of their database. It's driving about 70, 80, 90% of their revenue.
Yeah.
And that's great if you know who they are, but if you don't, it's incredibly risky. And by using all of those digital footprints, because Bums is driving people into the business, we can tell you who those people are. And then you've got some really solid insights to build your marketing and your operational and your business development plans in general on.
Absolutely. And I think you hit the nail on the head there that, it's about you getting all that data. It's about your Bums on Seats can help drive, but then it's about, retention. We know, and I know you know as well, and that it's 6 times easier to really keep your customers coming back than it is to find completely new ones. But we're here to really help them, giving them the right tools to get them to keep coming back between the Bums on Seats and Datahawks. But I think one thing I often hear a lot of conversation around, and actually I was having conversations quite recently with the likes of Wireless Social, is there is so much insight and so much data out there saying you can do this, you can do that. But really, sometimes it's, as you say, you get all that information. It's about what do you do with it? What do you think marketers can really do with all the insight that they're getting?
Yeah, do you know what? It's funny because when I first started this business, I noticed that I was given sort of, loads of insights. And there's a particular brand I'm thinking of, which found £9 million worth of opportunity sort of sitting in their database. And it was actually really achievable opportunity. And they didn't do a great deal with it. And I just couldn't understand why. And then I sort of remembered what it was like to be a marketing director. And I thought, I've got, the CEO on one shoulder sort of going, where are my discounts, Vic? I've got the ops director on the other saying, where are my posters, Vic? The back of the toilet doors are looking a bit plain. And I'm sitting here thinking, I really need to get into my CRM. I need to get into a system that's not necessarily familiar to me and I'm comfortable with, and start to build segmentation and start to send out loads of versions of an email at a time when I barely had, time to send out one email. And that's where the sort of second part of the business came from, Campaigns by Datahawks. So we take those insights, we tell you who your most valuable are, we tell you how to move people along that value chain to get your existing customers to become more valuable. but we do it for you. We literally take over your CRM system, whatever you're using. We take over your CRM system and we design the emails, we write the emails, we send the emails out and we report on them. It's a fully managed service. And it means that your emails go from being, a bit of a nice to have where you're banging out a nice brand message once a week to a performance marketing technique. And that's how we're helping, because marketers haven't got the time. They've not got the time to do it. And we literally do it all day long.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think one thing as well is, if you're able to really help with that sort of CRM strategy and that data strategy from understanding who your customers are, it's really great that then you can then facilitate and deliver that, because then you're keeping it consistent and then you will see the results from that. I totally can see the benefit in that. And Bums works in a very similar way from our auditing through to sort of the delivery too.
Yeah.
So that's absolutely amazing. And I think what I'd also really want to know from you, Vic, is understanding what top 3 tips do you think operators can be doing right now to really help themselves not just survive, but thrive?
Yeah, God, I mean, definitely survive. It's going to be a tough year. It's going to be a tough couple of years. Number one, I say, is know your base. It's honestly astonishing to me that most businesses in this sector, unless they're already working with us, couldn't tell you who in their database is most valuable to them. And we all go into our sites and we look at them, and you can kind of get a bit of a sense of your customer base. Oh, they're young people, or they're older people, or they're suits or whatever. But you can't look around that business and work out who's most valuable to you in that room, where data can tell you that. So really understand your database, get to know it, work out who your key groups are. Who's most valuable to you? Who's most likely to be converted? Who's lapsing? Who's falling out of the bottom of that bucket while you're sort of working on all the other stuff. So yeah, get to know your customer base inside out. I think secondly, it's get some decent data as well. So quite often we're gathering stuff like age and gender and have you got kids, and that's always going to be important. Of course it is, but it's never going to be as important as maybe it was sort of 10, 20 years ago. And actually, the stuff that we want to use to sort of personalize communications with now, it's not about whether you're a man or a woman. It's about, your mindsets and your motivations. So as much range of data as you can, you can gather. And I think third has to be about monetizing your database. Quite frankly, if you are not sending out segmented, personalized, and automated communications in 2023, you are leaving bags of cash on the table. Honestly, I could shake you. Monetize your database. You're going to all these efforts to gather and get people onto your database and capture data through all of these amazing platforms. Use it. It's like the answer to your surviving and thriving is under your nose. So monetize your database.
I think that's a really great series of tips. It's about knowing your data. It's about then making sure once you know your data, just make sure it's actually quality data or up-to-date data. And then it's about, absolutely using it to really get those people through and get those people over the line. And I think you can use it for such a variety, not just from, again, your families and everything else, but even from a corporate point of view, what you can really work with. And then, it's understanding what offering is that going to look like. And obviously that's, again, another way that Bums on Seats from Datahawks can work together to really do that. So I think that's really incredible. But thank you so much for that. And short and sweet, but I really appreciate your time on that, Vic. It's really insightful and always a pleasure to catch up. And all these tips that we've just been talking about, as well as all the other ones with our partners, we're putting these together in a written guide ready for operators to have a look at, and that'll be towards the end of February. But if you'd like any more information on Datahawks or Bums on Seats and how we can help your business, feel free to obviously reach out to Vic, either through LinkedIn or at victoria@datahawks.com, or obviously reach out to myself to see how we can help. But once again, thank you so much, Vic, and I'll hopefully see you soon.
Thank you so much. Take care. Bye. Bye.